no earthen DKs. That's a thing.
That's interesting. I had something to say about this, but I wasn't going to say it on Twitter because I couldn't be bothered. It was exactly no DKs. That doesn't make lore sense, right? So they have to decide whether or not they want their game to make lore sense all the time or not, because they would have to get some real roundabout way to show that earthen DKs could make sense. I saw some versions being like, just say they were like infused with Cyanide or something, but that's not really satisfying enough for a full experience. It's frustrating that they said that they were available. They clearly didn't think about like the lore aspect and changed their mind at some point later, which is interesting enough. It's always literally like there is no one who can make a new DK at this point in time realistically, because no one's a Lich King anymore, which is fun. Yeah, here's the Cyanide
also like
thing. Yeah,
you're an undead rock. How does that work?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So the other thing was then people talking about why they can't be druids. And I'm like, yeah, it's very obvious that the answer is, even though they have like the lower setting for druids, it's the same reason everyone can't be druids and everyone can't be paladins.
Yeah.
Because they go, we are not willing to do this unless we give enough energy and enough time to make sure that they have what they need to be, right? Which is, druids, they all need new forms. They need all new forms that match the aesthetic because that's the standard they hold themselves to. And I think sticking to some sort of standard, lore-wise and asset-wise, is probably... It may feel bad if you're like, I want to be a druid with a cool new race. I think it makes more sense for them to be fantasy-focused on that front.
Yeah.
Because the fantasy focus doesn't really... Once you lose that, you don't get it back in a bunch of ways. And we were lucky enough that they can be paladins because of reasons. So yeah, they refuse to acknowledge that Night Elf can be paladins. They don't refuse to acknowledge it. They just haven't bothered to make it a thing yet. And they don't want to make more Night Elf paladins in lore because then people will be like, where's my playable? And they're like, we have to go and make that. We have to go and do that. And we need someone to make we need someone to make the druid forms. We need someone to make the paladin mount. We need someone to do a little bit of effort there. So I understand it is both sides. It is literally a trade-off. Do you want to do the thing right or do you want to do it now? And for these specifically, they've said that they've clearly implied that they want to do it right over a longer time, which I think is cool. Like, this could easily be a case of they wanted it for launch and they decided we'll throw them to, we'll throw it down the line. We'll have a patch. Like, this is prime, like, 0.5 stuff.
Yeah.
And if you want to be really cynical, then that's also some race changes they'll sell. If you want to be hyper cynical, I don't think that wouldn't factor into the decision making whatsoever, I don't think. But it is obvious that the possibility is there. The possibility is there. They just need to make the forms. And that's really it. And with the Death Knights, I don't know what they need to do otherwise. Like, because that would require a whole new intro that makes sense. That would require a whole new intro that makes sense.
Be a challenge.
Which would be the hardest part. And the same reason, like, people don't complain about not being evokers or demon hunters. So it's clearly like, I just want the class that I like thing. Which I think is fine.